Ladies and gentlemen of our Healthier Daily Community Court is now in session. Today, two of the most popular and trusted supplements in the entire world are on trial. The defendants, vitamin D and vitamin E. The charges against them secretly weakening the legs and triggering painful nightly cramps in millions of seniors. Today, we will hear the evidence. Welcome back to Healthier Daily, the channel where we give you the simple science-backed truths to live a stronger and more independent life after 60. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Carter, and I will be acting as the prosecutor in today's important case. And to provide the deep expert testimony for this trial, we are joined by a physician who has spent over a century studying the delicate balance of the human body. It is our great honor to call our lead expert witness to the stand, Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara.
Thank you, Ben. It is an honor to be here. Before we begin, I must be very clear for everyone watching. The defendants in our trial today, vitamin D and vitamin E, are not evil by nature. They are essential life-giving nutrients that our bodies need to survive. The crime that is being committed is not in their existence, but in their overdose. We are here today to investigate the very real dangers of taking too much of a good thing.
And that is exactly how this trial will proceed. In this detailed guide, we will first hear the case against vitamin D, and I will present the scientific evidence for how it can cause harm when taken in excess. Then in part 3, we will hear the case against vitamin E. And finally, at the very end of our video, you, our community, will be the jury as Dr. Hinohara helps us to deliver the verdict and the sentencing, a clear and simple protocol for how to use these powerful vitamins safely and wisely. It is a true blessing to have the wisdom and the clarity to seek the truth in these important matters of our health. If you are ready to hear the evidence in the trial of the vitamins, please type the number 1 in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. It's completely free, and the information in this case is so important. All right, the court is now ready to hear the evidence. Let's call the first defendant to the stand, vitamin D. Now, vitamin D, you are recommended by almost every doctor for bone health. You are praised across the world as the sunshine vitamin, but the prosecution is here today to argue that when you are taken in excess without a true deficiency, you can cause severe and painful harm to the legs of seniors. Dr. Hinohara, as our lead expert witness, please present the first piece of evidence to the court.
Yes, the great danger of vitamin D is in its powerful ability to create a serious mineral imbalance in the body when it is misused. Let me present the case of one of my patients. We will call him John for this story. He was a 65-year-old gentleman, recently retired, and a perfect example of a person who was trying to do everything right for his health. He was diligent. He took his daily multivitamin every single morning. But he had also read in many magazines and seen on television that seniors need extra vitamin D for their bones to prevent osteoporosis. So he went to the pharmacy and he bought an additional high-dose vitamin D supplement, and he was taking that every single day as well. On the surface, his routine looked perfect and very responsible. But after a few months of this new habit, he came to see me. He had started waking up in the middle of the night with the most excruciating and painful calf cramps. He also told me that his legs felt unusually heavy and weak during his morning walks, a feeling he had never had before. He was now struggling to climb the stairs in his own home, a task that had always been easy for him. He, of course, assumed that he was just getting older, but in reality, his body was being overloaded by the very vitamin he thought was protecting him.
Thank you, doctor. That is a powerful testimony, and the scientific evidence will now show the court exactly why this was happening to him. Let's talk about a dangerous condition called hypercalcemia. The primary job of vitamin D in your body is to help you to absorb calcium from the food you eat and the supplements that you take. This is why it is so good for your bone health. You can think of vitamin D as a powerful gatekeeper that allows calcium to pass from your intestine into your bloodstream. When your vitamin D levels are normal, this gatekeeper does a wonderful and a very balanced job. But if your vitamin D levels are already adequate and you continue to take high doses from supplements day after day, that gatekeeper becomes overzealous. It opens the gates wide and it allows a flood of excess calcium to enter your bloodstream. In a young, healthy body, the kidneys are very good at working overtime to filter out this excess calcium. But as we age, our kidney function naturally becomes a little bit less efficient. The kidneys can become overwhelmed by this constant high calcium load. The result is a dangerous condition called hypercalcemia, which is a scientific term that simply means the level of calcium in your blood has become too high. And this excess calcium is the direct root of the problem for the legs. Your muscles and your nerves operate on a very delicate electrical balance of minerals. As we have discussed on Healthier Daily, before, calcium is the mineral that carries the electrical signal that tells a muscle fiber to contract or to tense up. Another mineral, magnesium, is the signal that tells that same muscle fiber to relax and to release. When you have too much calcium in your system, it is like the go signal. The contract signal is stuck in the on position. This excess calcium can interfere with your nerve signals, and it can prevent your muscle fibers from relaxing completely and properly. And this is a direct cause of both the muscle weakness and the painful uncontrolled contractions that we call cramps.
And this is especially dangerous for seniors, is it not, Doctor?
Yes, the risk is much greater for an older person because, as we said, the kidney function naturally declines with age. The kidneys are the organs that are responsible for filtering out this excess calcium. If they are already a little bit tired and you overload them with too much calcium day after day, you are putting a great and unnecessary strain on them. This makes the problem of hypercalcemia and the resulting leg cramps even worse. It is a perfect example of how the body, this blessed and very intricate creation, thrives on delicate balance. It is not about having more of one thing. It is about having the right amount of everything all working in perfect harmony. So the evidence against a vitamin D overload is compelling. An excess of it can lead to a toxic buildup of calcium, which directly causes the muscle weakness and the painful leg cramps that so many seniors suffer from. The case against it is strong. Now let's call our second defendant to the stand, vitamin E. You are praised as a powerful antioxidant, a protector of the heart, and a friend to our circulation. But the prosecution is here today to argue that when you are taken in excess without a true need, you too can become a thief of strength. Dr. Hinohara, as our expert witness, please present your testimony on vitamin E.
Yes, vitamin E is another one of these vitamins that has been praised for many, many decades. Many people take it in high doses, believing that it will improve their circulation and keep them feeling youthful. And it is true in the right amounts that we get from our food. It is a very important and a very protective antioxidant for the body. But the danger is in the high-dose supplement.
And this is another perfect case of that critical principle you mentioned earlier, Dr. Balance over excess. Let's present the scientific evidence for the court. Vitamin E is a natural blood thinner. It works by interfering with the action of vitamin K in the body, which is essential for our blood to be able to clot properly. Now, in the small balanced amounts of vitamin E that you get from a healthy diet of nuts, seeds, and leafy greens, this is a very gentle and a very beneficial effect for your cardiovascular system. However, when you take high doses of vitamin E from supplements, especially day after day, it can begin to thin the blood too much. Now, you might think that thinner blood always means better circulation, but that is a dangerous oversimplification. Overly thin blood can actually reduce the oxygen carrying capacity of your red blood cells. It can impair the efficient delivery of that precious oxygen to your large, hardworking muscles, like the muscles in your thighs and your calves. When your leg muscles are not getting a rich and steady supply of oxygen, they fatigue much faster, they feel weaker, and they are much more likely to spasm or to cramp, especially at night. So that extra vitamin E that you might be taking, believing that you are helping your circulation, could actually be starving your muscles of the very oxygen they need to be strong and to stay calm. And this brings us back to the case of John, the gentleman we were discussing, who was taking all of the extra supplements. How does this piece of evidence apply to him, doctor?
It applies perfectly to his situation. He was unknowingly overloading his body with two different vitamins that can cause leg cramps, but for two very different reasons. The excess vitamin D was causing a calcium imbalance in his system, and the excess vitamin E was likely impairing the oxygen delivery to his tired muscles. His poor legs were being attacked from two different directions by his own healthy habits. The solution for him was very simple. We worked together with his personal doctor, and he stopped taking the extra high-dose vitamin D and the extra high-dose vitamin E supplements. He continued with his simple low-dose daily multivitamin, but he stopped taking the individual high-potency pills on top of it. The verdict in his personal case was clear. After just a few weeks of this simple change, he told me that the nightly calf cramps that had tormented him for months had completely disappeared. He said his legs felt stronger during his morning walks, and he was no longer struggling to climb the stairs in his home. The problem was not a deficiency that needed more pills. The problem was an excess that needed to be removed.
That story is a powerful lesson and a final piece of evidence for this court today. It shows that the very thing he thought was protecting his health was actually the thing that was robbing him of his strength. And it also shows how quickly the body can begin to heal itself once the source of the imbalance is removed. It is a wonderful reminder of the wisdom of the body's natural design, a design that thrives on the blessed gift of balance, not on constant overload. This is such a critical warning, doctor. It shows how important it is to be a wise and an informed consumer of these supplements. We are so grateful to share this with our amazing community. To help us see our global community, please let us know what city, state, or country you're watching from. We love hearing from all of you. So the evidence has now been presented. The cases against an overload of both vitamin D and vitamin E are strong, and they are very clear. Doctor, as our expert witness and the wise judge in this important matter, our community is now waiting. What is the final verdict in the trial of these vitamins?
Thank you, Ben. After hearing all of the evidence, the verdict is very clear. The verdict is not that these vitamins, vitamin D and vitamin E, are guilty of being inherently bad. The verdict is that they are guilty of being misused. They are powerful and essential tools for our health. But when they are used without wisdom, without respect for the body's delicate balance, and in excessive doses, they can cause harm. The crime is in the overdose, not in the vitamin itself.
Guilty of being misused. That is a perfect and a very wise verdict. So, doctor, what is the sentence? What is the official protocol that our viewers must now follow to ensure that they are using these powerful vitamins safely and correctly from this day forward?
The sentence is not a punishment. It is a set of 4 simple but very important rules. It is a smart supplement protocol that will guide them back to a state of balance and of safety.
What is the first and most important rule of this protocol, doctor?
The first rule is absolute, and it is non-negotiable. The rule is test, don't guess. You must not start taking high doses of a powerful fat-soluble vitamin like vitamin D unless you have had a simple blood test from your doctor that confirms that you are truly and clinically deficient in it. To simply guess is to be reckless with your own health.
That is the absolute cornerstone of responsible supplementation. You can ask your doctor for a very simple blood test called a 25-hydroxy vitamin D test. This test will tell you exactly what your current levels are in your body. Most doctors and functional medicine experts will agree that a healthy and optimal range is generally between 30 and 50 nanograms per milliliter. If your blood test shows that you're already in that healthy range, taking a large extra dose of vitamin D is not only unnecessary, but as we have now proven in this court today, it can be harmful.
The second rule of the protocol is a principle that we teach in all of our videos. It is food first, always. The body always prefers to get its nutrients from whole foods where they are naturally balanced with thousands of other important compounds that all work together in beautiful harmony.
So, if someone is concerned about their levels of these vitamins, what are the safest and best food sources for them to focus on?
For vitamin D, the best natural food sources are the fatty fish, like wild salmon and sardines and mackerel. Some mushrooms that have been exposed to sunlight and fortified milks are also good sources. For vitamin E, the best and safest sources are nuts and seeds, especially fresh sunflower seeds and almonds. Dark leafy greens like spinach also provide a good amount.
So we test first and we focus on getting our nutrients from food. What is the third rule, doctor, if a supplement is actually needed?
The third rule is that if a true deficiency is confirmed by your doctor's blood test and a supplement is recommended, you must choose the right dose. It is very important that you avoid the bottles with the flashy labels that say megadose or maximum strength. For a senior, a gentle lower dose, such as 800 to 1,000 IU of vitamin D, is often much safer and more effective than a very high dose of 5,000 or 10,000 IU. The goal is to gently restore the body's natural balance, not to shock the system with an unnaturally high amount.
And that brings us to the final and perhaps the most important rule of all in your protocol.
Yes, the final rule is that you must always work in partnership with your doctor. You must be a good and an honest partner with your healthcare team. You must tell your doctor about every single supplement you're taking, no matter how natural or harmless you think it is.
This is so critical because of the very real risk of interactions with your prescription medications. As we have discussed, these vitamins can and do interact with common medications. Vitamin E can increase the effect of blood thinners. Vitamin D and calcium can sometimes interfere with certain heart and blood pressure drugs. The only way to be truly safe is to have an open and an honest conversation with your doctor or your pharmacist so that they can see the full picture of everything that you are putting into your body. It is a wonderful example of how we can be good stewards of our health, combining the wisdom of nature with the safety and the guidance of our blessed medical professionals. The verdict is in. Vitamin D and vitamin E have been found guilty of being misused. This trial has taught us a powerful lesson, the key to avoiding those painful leg cramps and that frustrating muscle weakness is not always about adding more supplements, but about finding the right delicate balance. Your Smart Supplement Protocol, doctor, is a powerful and a very responsible framework for senior health. By following these 4 simple rules, test, don't guess, food first, choose the right dose, and always work with your doctor, our viewers can avoid one of the hidden causes of their nightly leg cramps. This knowledge is so empowering, and it is a true cornerstone of a proactive senior health strategy. It is a practical and a wise way to fight back against the frustrating pain of leg cramps and to live a more comfortable and active life.
I want to leave you with this one final thought. Health is not about taking more things. It is about taking only what your body truly needs. I encourage you to listen to your body. Work in partnership with your doctor. That is the true path of wisdom for a long and a healthy life.
That is a beautiful message, Doctor. The path of wisdom. It's a wonderful reminder to be good stewards of our health by being mindful and informed, and by respecting the delicate balance that the bodies we have been blessed with require. And of course, our conversation today is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for the direct medical advice from your own trusted physician. Please always have these important conversations about your supplements with your doctor. If you found this guide empowering and it changed the way you think about supplements, please give this video a like so that others can find this vital information. And be sure to share it with a friend or a family member who might be struggling with unexplained leg pain or weakness. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. It is completely free, and it ensures you will not miss our next practical health guide. And for our community discussion today, we would love to know, what is the one thing you learned about vitamin safety today that surprised you the most? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for being with us. Be well and be wise.